Hi, I'm Melynda Jarratt, and I am the president of the Association Maison Doucet Hennessy House Association in Bathurst, New Brunswick. I'm taking you for a little tour in the basement of the Doucet Hennessy House, which not many people get a chance to come down here, to be perfectly honest, because we're not very happy with the way it looks. And the reason why we're not happy with the way it looks is because it needs a lot of work. And this is one of the reasons why we're doing this video here today, is because we want to show you the extent of the work that needs to be done here to bring this house up to standard, and also to show you in detail some of the areas that need to be fixed by a competent heritage stone mason. And that's what we're trying to do here over the next 3 months here into January, February, and March 2020, excuse me. And we're hoping that we can count on you to help us raise 10% of the $100,000 that we're going to need to fix this basement. Now, okay, as you can see, we're just going to take a look around here. As you can see, the foundation in this section of the house, which, by the way, we're not really sure how old it is. We really don't know, and we probably never will, because back in those days, when these land grants were given in 1807 and 1808 to Charles Doucet, who built the original Doucet house, they didn't keep blueprints. There was no central clearinghouse in the downtown Bathurst, because there was no downtown Bathurst, to give the approval. There was no planning commission, let's put it that way. So people just built houses. Now, he was required to build a 16 by 20 dwelling within 5 years of receiving his land grant. So we know that there has been a house on this spot at least since 1812, and we know that in the foundation, the wooden part here, the floor, which forms the base of the first floor, that there is wood from 1808, which means it was cut in 1808. And we know that there are other pieces of wood throughout this in this area here downstairs in the cellar that are as old as 1827. So we do know that there's wood here, so it lends to that the belief that the house, this foundation, may be as much as 200 plus years old. However, as I said, we'll never be 100% sure. So as you can see here, the foundation has there's a fieldstone foundation. This is probably the best area in the whole house. It's in fairly good shape. You see the large stones right here that form the base of the foundation. Now, there would be solid rock, flat stones on the base here that would have supported that. And then as you go up here, you can see that there's a change, right? There's a change. Different type of stone is being used. We start seeing the use of brick. And then we see another layer of brick. Then we see the sill. We believe the sill, according to the studies that were done, was built in 1858. So we know that there are several iterations of the house being developed over a period of 200 years. But unfortunately, we don't have any blueprints or anybody paying taxes to tell us what that meant, what years those may have been. So as you can see, this foundation, this area here is in pretty good shape. We don't have a lot of problems here. There's very little water inundation. However, if you turn around over here, and this is the old fireplace, the old chimney for the old fireplace. Now over here we have a lot of problems with water inundation, and of course, because it's the electrical panel, that's of great concern to us. We've in the past, literally, this ground where I'm standing right now is almost soggy. You can see where it's very easy to break up. It's muddy. It's muddy right here. And in the spring, a couple of years ago, for the very first time ever, we opened the windows. As you can see, there's the basement windows. There are 5, I believe, down here, and it just so happened to coincide with the worst spring rains that they'd had in Bathurst in many, many years, and the water just poured in. And we ended up with a flood here in the basement, in a basement that had been dry for as long as I know, and as long as anyone else associated with the house could remember, 80 years. we had a flood down here, water, we had to wear rubber boots. And of course, it's been a struggle ever since then to try to deal with that. So this area right here is a spot that needs some help. And you can see at one point there was another entry here. Possibly it was a crawl and a place to either when maybe they used coal or possibly to bring wood in or maybe potatoes. We're not really sure, but you can see it's been walled in. And that there's all kinds of, see, look at this here. This needs to be repaired. There's water just, coming into this area, and the floor, of course, being rather soft and wet. It's just like spring in here. You'd think, and here we are in at the end of December, first part of January 2020. So we're going to go around a little bit more to them. We'll see, as you can see, which I find kind of cool. Now you see a different ledge here. You see the way that they dealt with the when they built the when they added this sill in 1858. They had to do some. I guess someone had to do some changes to the layout, and they pushed when they put the extra layer of brick up, they pushed it back a little. So you see this little ledge forming, which goes all the way around to the other side. But back here. So let's go over in this direction. You'll see all kinds of cracks, and this is a big one that's of concern to us. Now, where I'm looking right now is I am looking at Holy Family Church. So if I walked out of the building, right, and stood right there outside, I'd be looking at Holy Family Church in St. Peter Avenue. And now when these cracks came, gosh knows, I mean, who's to say? Could have been during the construction when they built St. Peter Avenue in the 60s and the 70s, because this is a fairly, this house has been here a long time. These cracks are quite pointed here. Look at, you can really see there's some serious problems here. These have to be repaired. You can see here as well the line crack right here. This all has to be fixed. And again, here you see the beginning of the protrusion of the layer where someone, when they were doing the 1858 sill, they had to start dealing with the error and adjust the error in the alignment of the bricks from the first iteration or second iteration of the fieldstone base. So let's continue on over here, and as you can see, the floor is getting a little bit better, but you can see the pattern where the water had come in. And there was another, probably the worst part, and in fact it is the worst part of the building, is this section right here. And we've done some work to try to clean this up, but what this was originally was, in these old houses, you've probably seen them before, where they would have these entries where you'd open up the doors and you could walk in. Well, that's what that was there. They walked down here. They used to have shelves here where they would put vegetables, and they had big boxes filled with sand where they would put their root vegetables like potatoes and carrots, and they would store them here all winter. And they had shelves here with bottled and pickled tomatoes and jams and everything. That was all along these edges here. And so they would walk in. But in the 1940s, during the Second World War, they decided they didn't need that anymore because they weren't doing as much farming, and they weren't doing as, life was changing and people were spending more money in grocery stores, and they weren't doing as much of their own pickling and farming and for potatoes and carrots. So they decided that they would close this off. So they closed off that exterior entry and built a false wall. Well, as you can see, it's not holding up. It's 80 years later now, and it's really starting to cave in. And it's fascinating and really extraordinary when you think that sill is still holding up and is still quite strong. The engineers tell us that it's really, that the building is very well made. It has good bones. However, this has to be dealt with. And anybody who would live in a house like this would want to fix it, and we're no different. This building needs to have this foundation repaired, and you've got to start at the bottom. This job is a big job. It's a $100,000 job. Our contribution towards this job is 10%, which is about $10,000. And we're looking to our supporters, to our community, to people out there across the country and into the United States and anywhere else who has an interest in this fascinating history of Charles Doucet, an Acadian refugee who escaped in the diaspora to be one of the founders of the city of Bathurst back in 1781 when they first settled here, becoming the first permanent European settlers to settle at what was then called Nipisiguit. And it was the legacy of Charles Doucet lives on in this house. And it's up to us to make sure that this house remains an important heritage asset in the city of Bathurst. Our dream is to turn it into a cultural hub where artists and creative people and theater and dancers and visual artists and all manner of community events and activities can take place in this space, upstairs and then on the second floor and even maybe in the attic. We'll talk more about all the different parts of the different sections of the house, which are each one has its own story. But I want to ask you for your help to help us make this place the best place in Bathurst, a cultural hub, and we need to reach a $10,000 goal, and that's what we're asking for you today, to give us a hand. So I'm going to direct you to our website, www.doucethennessy.com. That's DOUCET, Hennessy, HENNESSY.com. And there'll be a PayPal link there. You can make a donation. Anything that you give to us over $10 will receive a charitable tax receipt, which you can use in for your taxes next year. So, you help us, we'll help you. We're going to create a great place here that the people in the city of Bathurst are going to be very, very proud of. Thank you very much for your time, and give us a call sometime. We're always available. My cell phone number is 506-440-4567. That's 506-440-4567. You can give me a call anytime. Love to talk to you about the Doucet Hennessy House. Thank you very much.